It started with a knock on the window. 3 taps, slow, precise, out in the middle of nowhere, in the pitch black deserted night. Inside the family froze. They lived miles from the nearest neighbor. No cars, no lights, nothing but sand silence. And something watching from the dark. When the father opened the door, there was nothing there. But the footprints in the dirt weren't human. And they didn't stop at the front porch. They started there. Tonight, we enter the world of skinwalkers, beings that wear the skins of animals, walk like men, and haunt the edges of Navajo legend. Welcome to Mindful Progress A Journey, the podcast where we delve into the realm of creepypastas and eerie stories, offering valuable insights and reviews in a calculated and mindful manner. I'm your host, Torrid Embrox, and let's get right into it. The term Skinwalker comes from the Navajo word naaldlooshii, which loosely translates to "with it, he goes on all fours." According to legend, a skinwalker is a type of witch, not the pointy-head broomstick kind, but a dark sorcerer who has gained the ability to shapeshift by committing unspeakable acts, sometimes even murder of a close relative. These beings can take the form of animals, coyotes, owls, wolves. They're fast, elusive, and often malevolent. Skinwalkers are said to roam the desert, especially at night, using their powers to harm or manipulate others. Some say they knock on windows, others swear they hear them calling out in familiar voices, but it's never who you think it is. Skinwalker stories aren't just campfire tales, they are sacred warnings, protected in Navajo communities by silence. Outsiders are rarely told the full story, and some even believe that talking about skinwalkers invites them in. Now, you don't have to believe whatever I say. If you want, you can go on Google or any other search engine and search them up. Up to you. Some people believe in them, some people don't. But let's hear from someone who's had a brush with the unexplained, okay? This is from a guy, I can't really say the name because it's anonymous. He has specifically asked me not to say this, but it has happened in the northern side of Canada. So, yeah, there we go. I'll play the recording right now.
I was driving through the res late at night. No lights, just moon and headlights. Out of nowhere, this thing ran across the road. Not like a deer or a dog. It was fast, but the way it moved was off, unnatural. It had the shape of a man, but the head, it looked like a coyote.
Stories like this are far more common, especially near places like Skinwalker Ranch in Utah than in Canada. Though not traditionally part of Navajo land, the ranch has become infamous for paranormal activity now. The ranch I'm talking about is the Skinwalker Ranch in Utah, not Canada. Okay, so like there have been allegedly UFO sightings, poltergeists, mutilated cattle, and yes, skinwalkers as well. But here's the thing, skinwalkers aren't ghosts, they're living beings according to the lore. And if you know their true identity, you can strip them of their power. Some believe skinwalkers travel in packs, that they practice necromancy, that they use bones and skin to perform rituals. Others say that they're a metaphor for the dangers of broken taboos, of what happens when community bonds are violated. Now, there are really different and many different versions of these skinwalkers, and one of the most popular ones, which I can see here, I'll leave the link of this website in the description, I think, of the episode. So it's the story number 5 of the website, and if you want, you can read it from here. but I'll just make it easier for you and I will read it for you instead. So the title is It Had a Dog's Body but with Human Hands and Feet. And it reads like this, okay? I'm just gonna read whatever's written there. I'm not gonna change anything. I was spending a month with my cousins at my grandma's house. It was August, and my cousins' ages ranged from 10 to 15, and I was the oldest, being 15. I was staying with a 10, 13, and a 14-year-old. We stayed up telling scary stories often, but one night, a few weeks in, we decided to make a campfire out back. My grandma's house is in a rural suburb. The neighbors aren't too far when you're driving down the road to her house, but in the backyard, it's thick forest with man-made paths through it. Each house is on a hill, so only part of the basement was actually underground. That isn't important until later though. So we're towards the east side of her yard, in a smallish patch of open land. You couldn't see the neighboring yards from there, and there was probably 3/4 a mile to each side of us that belonged to my grandma. It was maybe 11 at night and we were playing truth or dare after telling scary stories, and my 14-year-old cousin dared me and the 13-year-old to go walk through the paths for 10 minutes or so. I said yes right away, as I wasn't easily scared, or rather level-headed. But my younger cousin was a bit more hesitant. We didn't bring a flashlight because it wasn't pitch dark yet, and we could see enough to not die. We were walking through the paths for about 5 minutes and could barely see the fire through the trees when we decided to turn. In the middle of the path was a large dog-like creature, hunched over with its front hands an inch from the ground. What I remember most was how its eyes were so bright white, and it was humanoid dog-shaped with a human-like head but a dog-like body but human hands and feet. It looked right at us, and I know I was paralyzed with fear as it dashed away the opposite way from us, towards a creek that ran through the yard. Eventually my cousin and I screamed bloody effing murder, and the other cousins and my grandma ran to us. I don't remember much here because I was really disoriented and I couldn't think properly, but I did wake up in bed, so I assumed that I was brought up to the house. All the kids slept in the basement, in a big room with sliding glass doors to the outside. As the room was on the other side, on this side that wasn't underground, my bed was pressed against a big glass window, and I could see my cousins playing outside, down below. The house is in Michigan, so it gets slightly chilly even in the end of August, and there was a slight breeze, so I put on a jacket and ran to join them outside, skipping breakfast, not wanting to miss out on anything fun. When I got down, I could tell they weren't playing but rather running to get my grandma. Her dogs, both of them, were dead, ripped up. That night we went to bed early. I woke up at maybe 2 in the morning because I felt something hit my head. My cousins were all sitting on the double bed opposite me on the other side of the room. There was one bunk bed and 2 double beds. The double beds for me and my 14-year-old cousin. They were being quiet and staring at me. The 13-year-old nodded his head towards the window. I froze. They all looked afraid. I turned my head slightly to the side and I saw a really messed up looking face pressed to the window with gaping eyes looking down at me. I screamed so loud it bolted. My grandma called the police, and after I told her what happened, and they found nothing. I went home after that and I have never been there during the night again. That story was the 5th entry in this website, and the website will be linked down in the description if anybody wants to read more about Skinwalkers or their stories. The Skinwalker legend walks a fine line between sacred tradition and cultural appropriation. In recent years, it's become pop culture fodder, appearing in YouTube horror stories, movies, and TV shows, but that doesn't sit well with many native communities. For the Navajo Skinwalkers are not just a scary story, they are a very real force of evil. Talking about them casually can be seen as disrespectful. That is why, for this episode, we approached the topic with caution and respect. We did not use real names, and we have left out specific rituals or names of people said to be skinwalkers. Because some doors, they're never meant to be opened. So, are skinwalkers real, or are they a warning? Passed down for generations meant to keep us safe from the darkness inside and out? One thing is certain, the desert holds its secrets, and sometimes silence is the loudest answer you can get. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the unknown. If you enjoyed the episode, you know where to find me, and you know this podcast. It has been here for a whole year, and I will be releasing more episodes into the future. The break was really long, and I get it. It was too much because I could not get the time to create more episodes. However, from now on, it will be bi-weekly again, which means one episode every 2 weeks. And I'll see you in the next one. This was Torrid Embrox, and stay curious, stay cautious, and don't look back, I guess. Because maybe you'll find a skinwalker outside your home. Maybe. Who knows?